Star is Born is directed by Bradley Cooper in his directorial debut. I went and saw this film this week and I have been feeling all of the feelings since, so I really wanted to bring you guys my review. I do also want to talk spoilers, so if you haven't seen this film, go and give Bradley Cooper all of your pocket money and then come back and then watch this video, okay? Before we crack into this review, let me just say that this film has got a terrible trailer, like seriously bad. I saw the trailer for this film a couple times before other movies, and every single time I'd turn to my friend and be like, well, that film looks like garbage, right? But how wrong I was, because this movie is actually really, really good. I laughed, I held back tears in the theatre, and then went home and recalled sad moments and ugly cried in the comfort of my locked bathroom. This movie has it all. Bradley Cooper plays Jackson Maine, who's this country / rock singer. He is super successful, very, very famous, but is also an alcoholic and a drug addict. He meets Lady Gaga's character Ellie in a bar one night. She's singing there and he's drawn to her voice. They hit it off. He invites her to his concert one day where he pulls her on stage to sing, and then they begin this relationship. The problem is, as her star starts to rise, he falls deeper and deeper into his alcoholism, and while the story does kind of follow the standard how addiction affects relationships storyline, it doesn't feel cliche at all. The focus is more on the love that these two characters have for each other rather than the problems, even as the problems start to get bigger and bigger. To sell a story like this, your leads really need to have great chemistry, and boy oh boy do Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper have chemistry. These guys are cast so perfectly together. I've seen a lot of praise for Lady Gaga's performance, but personally I actually think Bradley Cooper does the better job here. He is phenomenal, but I do love these two together as well. The love they have for each other feels so real. Even in these hard moments that they're going through together, it feels very unbreakable. There's one scene in particular where Ellie is collecting a Grammy on stage and Jackson's on stage with her, and he's so high and drunk that he wets himself. And rather than be mad at him, she tries to shield him from the cameras, even though he's ruining this massive moment in her life. But watching how much these two love each other for 2 hours straight serves another purpose, and that is to make sure that by the end, your heart is ripped out of its cage and smushed. You guys, this movie is so sad. A week later, I'm still not over what happens at the end of the movie. Let's talk about it. So Jackson goes to rehab and he gets sober, and it looks like things are going to be a-okay for these two lovebirds. Ellie is going on a tour through Europe and she wants to bring Jackson with her, but her manager thinks that that's a bad idea because he believes that Jackson is a thorn in her side. So the manager waits for Ellie to leave, and then he tells Jackson what he thinks of him, which in a nutshell is that he will always be an alcoholic, that he is an embarrassment, and that he's going to ruin Ellie's career. And sadly, Jackson agrees with him, so he waits until Ellie is on stage and he stays back and he hangs himself. And it's shit, quite frankly. It sucks, it's very sad, and it's unfair because it seemed like there was hope for these two. Sometime later, Ellie sings a song in tribute to him called I'll Never Love Again, which he actually wrote for her. And this moment also kind of sucks because at this point in the movie, maybe you had just gotten past the emotional turmoil of the suicide scene, and now your little heart has been thrown on the ground and stomped on. Smushed and stomped. And if that's not bad enough, halfway through the song, the film cuts to a scene with Jackson singing that song to her. Like, movie, come on. And speaking of music, the music in this film is actually really good as well. The whole album is on Spotify. I definitely recommend downloading it because it is great. I'm gonna call it now. I reckon that this film is going to get at least a Best Original Song nomination at the Oscars, probably Best Director, maybe Best Film. Lady Gaga feels like she's a shoo-in for Best Actress, and I'd be pretty sad to see Bradley Cooper left out of the Best Actor nominations as well. And while we're talking about nominations, definitely one for Sam Elliott, who plays Bradley Cooper's character's brother in the film, and he is actually phenomenal as well. There's one scene in particular with Sam Elliott's character Bobby and Jackson talking, and Jackson tells him that he actually looked up to him growing up, and as Bobby drives away he looks back tearfully, and it is a really, really emotional moment. There's also a lot of side focuses in this movie. Early on, Ellie tells Jackson about how she's never made it big because people like the way she sounds but not the way that she looks. And then this kind of comes back round full circle when she is famous and she completely changes both her appearance and the kind of music that she sings just to keep her popularity. And this causes a bit of friction between Jackson and her because he thinks that she's lost her heart and soul by conforming to what people want her to look like and sound like. And I really like this angle. I think it's probably pretty accurate to what actually happens in the music industry. Although I do feel like the film is a little bit harsh on pop music. My only criticism of A Star Is Born is the pacing. It's the one thing that I couldn't really get on board with. There are quite a few scenes that feel like they drag on longer than they need to, and then to counter that there are also scenes that feel like they should have been given more time but get rushed through. Two in particular that stand out are a scene between Bobby and Jackson about Bobby selling their dad's farm, and the scene where Jackson and Ellie get engaged and married. Both of those could have used probably a bit more focus. But pacing issues aside, I really enjoyed this film. I think it's a great first entry for Bradley Cooper. He's done such a good job of tackling the dark side of fame and addiction and relationships while maintaining this sense of relatability. I'm going to give A Star Is Born an 8.5 out of 10. What did you guys think of A Star Is Born? Let me know in the comments section below. I know I have been really MIA on this channel recently. I haven't even got a video up probably for the last month, which makes me very sad face emoji. I've got some big changes on the horizon which are excited but mean that I have been super busy, and unfortunately my channel has been neglected. So I am going to make a video about those changes and let you guys know, but in the meantime, thanks as always for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys here for the next one.